to another episode of Good Morning Arizona. Hope everybody has their coffee this morning. Got a little bit of a late start. We're starting this at 8:23 here on a beautiful Tuesday morning in the valley. I think we get into the low 90s again today. It was a warm day yesterday, but we live in Arizona, folks. That's what we come to expect, right? Just watched the news this morning, and they said that this April is going to be one of the warmest Aprils in a long time. Put up the 10-day forecast, and all in the low 90s. So look forward to a nice, beautiful, warm April here in the valley. Hope everybody's having a great morning. Get your coffee because today's episode is going to be one of my favorites. I went in there last night, got this together, and I picked out one of my top five best spots I've ever been to in the state of Arizona is going to be on this episode. I love this spot. I talk about it all the time. I do tours on this spot. It's so historic. You're not going to find it anywhere else. And the history behind it is absolutely amazing. But we're going to hit up that spot in just a little bit. Another spot we're going to talk about is probably up there in the top 10 of the 185 plus locations I've gone to in the last 4 years. We're going to have a good time this morning. We're going to have a great time this morning. Really excited to talk about these locations. Got lots of pictures of these locations too, so a little bit more than normal. Let's go ahead and check out the chat this morning, see if we got anybody rolling in here yet. Not anybody on the chat. If you have any questions during the episode and you're watching me live right now on Facebook or YouTube at the Arizona Timeless Tourist, you can hit me up in the chat and I'll try to answer those questions. But yeah, really, really excited about this morning's episode. Really quick, little sports segment. Great job to the Arizona Coyotes. Another hat trick pulled last night. Unbelievable. 2 hat tricks in back-to-back nights with back-to-back victories for the Coyotes. A 5-2 victory over the Kings last night. I think they were up 4-1 at the end of the second period. Looking good, Arizona Coyotes. We only got like 18 games left in the regular season since they cut it short. And we're on that verge of that playoff spot. We're over that line right now. We're a game or two up on that playoff spot. Hopefully, we keep winning. The Sun's doing amazing. And tonight, the Arizona Diamondbacks start a series up with the Colorado Rockies. That should be a great 3-game series before they head home for the home opener here at Chase Field with, I think, 20,000 fans. Should be a great, great Friday. If you haven't gotten tickets, I think they're sold out. But, of course, they'll be on TV. So that should be a great time on Friday night, Friday evening with the Arizona Diamondbacks playing. All right. Just sitting around doing a little chatting, see if we get some people in the chat online. Again, you can find me. If you missed this episode and you're watching it on a replay, I appreciate that. I appreciate if you share it with as many people as possible and keep this program moving. I'm hoping for the next 2 weeks to give you a solid Monday through Thursday, somewhere between 8 and 8:30 in the morning on those days, and see what it looks like after 2 weeks of episodes. So share it with as many people as possible. Where else can you find me on the social media platforms before I start here? Where else can you find the Arizona Timeless Tours? We'll go ahead and bring that up in a graphic there. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That's not all of them, but that's the major social media outlets that you can find me on. Facebook page is just doing outstanding right now. We got a little over 1,850 followers. TikTok, we got around a little over 58,200 followers on TikTok. YouTube, we're sitting at 3,200 subscribers. So thanks to everybody who goes out there and supports those. Want to give a shout out to the podcast. We got 24 episodes of the Arizona Timeless Tours podcast uploaded. If you haven't checked it out, go to Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. I know that it looks like Spotify and Anchor are my top 2 that people find me at, but I'm all across all the podcasting spectrum. You can find me across all the platforms. Been accepted on, I think, at least 8 of the platforms. I don't know how many there actually are, but 24 episodes, and looking to release episode 25 sometime this week if there is time. And go check it out, the Arizona Timeless Tourist podcast. And again, if you just throw into a search engine the Arizona Timeless Tourist, you're going to find all of these social media outlets. Why do I do this? Why do I do this show? Why for the last 4 years have I been traveling over 34,000 miles in just the state of Arizona? That's because most people work 40 to 70 hours a week. They don't have time to get out there and study these places like I've done. They don't have time to jump into the Jeep and get off to these back roads and get your map out and try to figure out where some of these ancient cliff dwellings and petroglyph sites are. They don't have time for that. They don't have time to find these hidden gems within the side of the state of Arizona. So I do that for you. And hopefully this show will just bring another aspect to that, just another way to reach out to the great people of Arizona and people across the United States and the world who love the great state of Arizona or thinking about coming here to visit on vacation. You can check out one of these episodes, folks, and find a unbelievable hidden gem like we're going to show you today to take the family, to friends, or maybe just yourself. All right, let's jump in, right? That's enough talking by Dean. I think we've waited around long enough. Let's go back to the chat. Let's see if anybody has said hello. One cast, one fish. What's up? How are you doing? Good to see you. Haven't joined that live stream that you're normally on with a group of people lately, so it's good to see you. It was at Vern. Frank is coming. All right. I appreciate your travels. I would be doing a lot. All right. Morning. It's looking like I got the old man specs on, folks. It's looking like Infamous, maybe K48. All right. Scott, good morning. Let's just throw some of these up. This is a great guy to go check out, guys. One cast, one fish. What we got here? We got another individual here. Throw you guys up here on the screen really quick before we get this baby moving. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. All right. Now we let's see. Let's check out the first graphic. I'm again excited about this show today. Let's start out with something local. I just uploaded it this morning. I just did a TikTok on it and did really good. So I'm like, you know what? I've lived here for almost 9.5 years now. Hadn't been downtown to check this location out, and I work within like 2 miles of it. And it's the famous San Carlos Hotel. This place right here, guys, the San Carlos Hotel in downtown Phoenix. Now, this is one of your older hotels in the Phoenix area, but the cool thing about this is a lot of famous people back in the day stayed at this hotel right here. It's still operational, still in business. People are eating down there around the cafe when I was down there filming the other day. But the cool thing about it is in the early 1990s, the owner of the hotel decided to place stars, just like in Hollywood. They just decided to place these gold stars on the sidewalk around the hotel to show you who some of these famous people who stayed here were. And I got a couple of the pictures here, not a lot of them. There's probably about 20 to 25 stars on the sidewalk surrounding this hotel area downtown. But a lot of people don't know all of the unbelievable famous people, we would say today, that stayed there back in the 50s and 60s. And here's another picture of some of the stars as you walk along the area of the side of the hotel right there. Really, really cool spot here, folks. Let me bring up a different one here. Here is Clark Gable. I don't know if you've heard of this guy, but here is Clark Gable. I think most people know who he is. His star is right there on the sidewalk. And the other one that I had to bring up because it was really hard to see with the shadows of the tree, and I couldn't get my camera right. but that does say Marilyn Monroe. That's right. The great Marilyn Monroe stayed here. Humphrey Bogart. I didn't have his picture. I couldn't get brought up on the computer screen this morning. Humphrey Bogart stayed here. A lot of famous people stayed at the San Carlos Hotel, downtown Phoenix. So if you're ever down there, check it out. Grab something to eat. Check out the hotel. Walk along the sidewalk there and see the 2025 famous individuals who stayed at the San Carlos Hotel in downtown Phoenix. Just thought that would be a great way to start this off this morning. I did not know this. Again, after 9.5 years, I came across it and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And when I did upload it onto the TikTok page and the thousands upon thousands of views that it received on there, people who have lived in Phoenix knew about the San Carlos Hotel, but didn't know that people like Marilyn Monroe, Humphrey Bogart stayed at this hotel. So pretty cool little spot right there. Let's take that off of there. All right. A lot of cool stuff in downtown Phoenix. Again, I said this yesterday. A lot of people don't like to go downtown. I mentioned the Wesley Bolin Memorial Plaza downtown yesterday, and I was talking about the Arizona State Capitol Museum and that it hadn't opened in over like 13 or 14 months, and they keep saying that there's possibilities that they're opening. And then something happened last night, and I was watching the news, and I was seeing that they were putting a lot of security around state capitals. So I don't know why they're doing this, especially here in Phoenix. But that got me to thinking, man, are they ever going to open the Capitol Museum again because of these security measures that seem to be in place around the country for state capitals? And that got me thinking, because every time I go to the website and check the State Capitol Museum out, it always said, well, we'll be opening in the fall. We'll be opening in the summer. Well, we've gone through all the seasons now, and they've just stopped updating the page and saying that it's closed, that they're sorry that it's closed, and they have all the resources online for you to go and check out. And to me, that's not good enough, folks. You got to get in there and check it out. The taxpayers need to get in this museum and check it out. So many people don't know about it. There are so many great artifacts in this museum on the history of Phoenix and the state that this place needs to be back opened. So hopefully something will happen soon and they'll open the State Capitol Museum up. But out in front of that is the Wesley Bolin Memorial Plaza. And I've said I've lived in D.C., I've lived in Northern Virginia, I've lived in many states, I've been overseas, and this is top 5 best from a memorial area I've ever seen. So check out the Wesley Bolin Memorial Plaza. And the reason I say all this is I caught it on the news last night with the security measure thing, and I was thinking, great, it might be another year before this museum is open, so I have to do a show on the inside of that museum, the video I got in the pictures I've got from inside of there. Where we're going to jump next? We're going to jump to the Globe Cemetery. That is on one of my Pioneer Cemetery tours that I give. It is the last stop up in Globe, Arizona, around 77 miles from around the Gilbert Queen Creek area, going on the 60 East. One of my favorite spots, one of my favorite cemeteries to check out. I told you before in another episode that they have a couple of markers marked out through the cemetery. It's very old. Only a 1-lane road going around it, so you hopefully don't come in contact with another car coming your direction because somebody's backing up, because you can't go to the side because the cemetery is old and the graves are all over the place, so you can't like pull off the road or you're pulling on top of a gravesite. So you'd have to back up through this narrow area. But if I've been up there, I've only seen one person in the 3 times that I've been up there. But let's talk about a few people buried in the Globe Cemetery and why it's worth the trip. Let's look at what you would see coming up to going in the Globe. Now, you'll see this great sign right here. The first one on the left, Al Sieber. Who is Al Sieber? Oh, there's a whole show dedicated to Al Sieber coming up. One of the greatest scouts that America has ever seen, especially during the Apache Wars. He was born in Germany. He came over early with his mother. His father had passed away in Germany. She brought like 8 other siblings across the ocean, and they settled in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, then moved to Minnesota, then joined the Civil War, fought in places like Antietam and Gettysburg, seriously wounded at the Battle of Gettysburg, spent 6 months in a hospital recovering, and then back into the Civil War before he got out. The guy's history is unbelievable. The way he died is unbelievable. After all this he went through, he made it through the Civil War and these major battles. He made it through all of the Apache wars and the battles like of Dry Wash, where he fought with the Apache Kid. And all these other spots he made it through. And the way he died, there is a marker over by the Roosevelt Bridge that's called the Hidden Marker. It's on one of my podcasts, one of my more popular podcasts on the Hidden Historical Marker, it's called in the podcast. And I talk all about the location of the marker. It's dedicated to Al Sieber. It's the area where he perished and how he perished. You just got to find it out. So check out the podcast before I do the next episode of Good Morning Arizona. But you got him, you got John Thompson, you got Thomas B. Hammond, which we're going to check out in just a minute. We got Judge Aaron Hackney, who is not an actual judge, but ran the local newspaper. You have Robert S. Knowles, who was a friend of Al Sieber. He's a friend of Glenn Reynolds. He was a friend of, or he worked side by side with the Apache Kid. You have Buffalo Soldiers buried in here. But this is what you'll see when you come into the cemetery. They do have this because not all the graves are marked. Let me show you what I mean by marked. And this is what I mean right here. Here you have Sheriff Glenn Reynolds. Do you see it's got this beautiful white marker? It sticks out as you're going through. Look at all the graves behind it. They're all old graves from the mid to late 1800s. And you have Glenn Reynolds right here, who was the sheriff at the time. The story really quick. There's another podcast episode done on this, but he was responsible back in, I believe it was 1889, for transporting 9 Apaches to the Yuma Penitentiary. And one of these Apaches was the Apache Kid. And this is where the history and the legend of the Apache Kid begins on this journey to the Yuma Penitentiary, because along the way, they escape and they kill Sheriff Glenn Reynolds. They kill the other sheriff that's escorting them, and they get away. And the other Apaches are caught days and months later. But guess who's not caught? That's right. The legend of the Apache Kid begins. We don't know where he died. We don't know where he settled. A lot of books on it, a lot of speculation. But this gentleman's grave is here. He's buried right next to one of his children, who looks like they didn't even live to be a year old, in the Globe Cemetery. But Sheriff Glenn Reynolds, a big story right there. I just gave you just a little short part of that story, but he is buried there. And on his grave, it does say on that marker and on his grave there, killed by Apaches. But that's one of the graves that you can find up there. That's one of the graves on the tour that I give. And then let's look at another one. Let's look at one that this will help you understand if you watch my TikTok on this. This guy's got 175,000 views on my TikTok channel. The next one I'm going to show you, very famous individual of a couple famous brothers from a famous shootout from a famous location here in the state of Arizona. And his grave is not marked. I think there's a purpose for it not being marked, but because a lot of people don't know who Glenn Reynolds is. You really have to do your research on Glenn Reynolds. But this next person you probably do. But there is no white marker on the grave. And this is it right here. Bang. Phineas Clanton. Finn Clanton. Who's Finn Clanton? Well, that last name sounds familiar for the state of Arizona. He is the brother of Ike Clanton and Billy Clanton of the famed shootout at the OK Corral with the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday back in October of 1881. Finn was not there, but His brother Ike was there. He escaped from being killed, and his brother Billy Clanton was killed there at the OK Corral and is buried in Boot Hill Cemetery up in Tombstone. This grave is not marked. I learned that the grave was there. I had to go through the site, try to GPS it, but the GPS signal out there wasn't very good. You can't really drive around it and find it. So I took a stroll for quite some time and came across Finn Clanton's grave. And it says here, I think it says, not all good men wore badges. That's on his tombstone, folks. Not all good men wore badges. Interesting take, right? There is another guy that's buried next to him that I did a podcast on and a TikTok on that I must say this TikTok is caught on. And it's interesting that the TikTok caught on with 230,000 plus views in the last, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks. 230,000 views because the grave next to it has no stone. The stone had been removed, but there's an individual buried next to him, and these guys became business partners later in life. And the gentleman that was buried next to him actually married Finn Clanton's wife when Finn passed away. Another outlaw is buried next to him, but you'll need to check out the podcast on Pete Spence, and you'll figure that one out there. But we just don't have time during this episode. Let's roll through something else here. You'll have a sign right there, Thomas B. Hammond. All right, prospector killed by Apaches in 1876, first to be buried in the Globe Cemetery. Interesting, right? He has an interesting story. If you ever have time to check out Thomas B. Hammond and his brother that were out prospecting, and they got separated for a minute, and Thomas was killed by Apaches, and what happened with his brother and the life that they led, you might want to check it out. But the tombstone's actually behind it. The original tombstone is there, and I do have a picture of that for you this morning. Let me sort through here. There it is right there. I apologize for the picture quality. You can actually, on another picture, read the tombstone. The tombstone down at the bottom has the whole story of how this gentleman was killed by Apaches and what he was doing out there back in 1876 while he was prospecting. But that is the original grave marker, the original gravestone out in Globe. A lot of history out there, but the first individual buried in the cemetery is right there. Right there. Let's do I have another pick out here somewhere that I want to show you on this in this location? I do not think so. Check out the Globe Cemetery. Full of rich history of the state of Arizona. You don't want to miss out on Globe. It's an unbelievable pioneer cemetery. They've done a great job in the city of Globe putting up some of the signs. Al Sieber, who we did not touch on his grave, there's a big white sign up on his grave site too. There is a one on Sheriff Thompson up there. A lot of unbelievable graves. If you just walk through that graveyard, you'll find graves of Buffalo soldiers. You'll find all kinds of interesting people that aren't marked out, aren't separated out for you to find. You actually have to do the research, do the looking around. Like Pete Spence, that was his name that he took on really quick. Pete Spence was a part of the cowboy gang outside of Tombstone back in the days of Wyatt Earp. Remember the cowboys? They were stealing cattle. They were the father of Billy and Ike and Finn Clanton was running that. Newman Haynes Clanton was running that cowboy gang. And Pete Spence got in with them and started hanging out with the Clanton family. But I didn't realize that. And I'm like, where is this grave? And find out that the tombstone, sorry for that noise, folks. I had to get that off of there. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Something popped up on the computer screen just out of the blue for an update. Like, why would it do that during a live show? Hopefully it doesn't do anything here. Hopefully I'm still going good here. Let me go into the chat and get rid of that. Man, it's blocking my chat. Don't like that. Good morning from Western North Carolina. Well, good morning to you. I used to live in North Carolina. I lived in North Carolina for 7 years. Love the state of North Carolina. Top 3 states I've ever lived in. One of those would be right outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. I lived. Love North Carolina. Phenomenal. Morning, Jewel. Jewel's got some fans in the house. I hear the San Carlos is haunted. You know what? So do I. I do not do shows on. Oh man, I'm a little nervous here, folks, because I'm trying to get this little pop up to get off of my screen, but I'm afraid if I hit that pop up, it's gonna close off the live, and I don't want that to happen. So that stinks. And I can't hit your comment. I hear the San Carlos is haunted, and I can't see any of the other comments. This is disastrous for live. But anyhow, the San Carlos, according to other people who do like ghost stories and have gone in there and filmed and done some investigations out there, I stay away from all that stuff. You won't find anything like that on any of my YouTube channels or Facebook pages. According to them, yes, it is haunted. But I'm going to say this right now before we go on. We got 10 people in the chat right now. I apologize if I do not get to your chat. Jewel, I like that you came on this time as your name of your YouTube channel so people can go and check it out. Jewel Weekend Road Tripper has been a great supporter of the Arizona Timeless Tours for quite some time. So it's greatly appreciated. Oh, man, somebody else is under here. What does it say? Michael, the National Archives has been, what does that? Oh, my goodness. I'm wondering if I do take this chance, but I'm not going to. I'm going to jump back to the graphics, talk about one of the top 3 places I've ever been in the state of Arizona next, and then I'm going to go and try to close this out to see your guys' comments, answer questions. But if it closes off the podcast, it won't matter. So let's jump over here to the graphics section and see if I can get into my graphics. I can still get into the graphics. All right. This next location I'm excited about telling you about. I've told you about this on podcasts, on YouTube videos, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on my Facebook page, everywhere. I've told people about this location. A lot of people can't find it, but you can sure bring up Google Maps and check out the aerial shots. They're phenomenal. They're still in existence today. Love this next spot, folks. Really looking forward to bringing you this information real quick here. Let's just bang that out of there right there and head into the graphics. And let's talk a little bit about this location. This is one of the signs that you're going to see when you're trying to get to this location. Yeah. No through access to Sunset National Monument and the ruin that they have out there. This is a forest road. The forest road's name is 776. Easy to remember if you go 1776, just take Forest Road 776, 10 to 12 miles north of Flagstaff, Arizona. And I've been out there. I don't know how many times I've been out to this location. I think I went 3 times. And I found the first location. I had to go the 4th time to find the actual main location to this area. But this is the off-roading area to Cinder Lake. This is the sign you'll see when you turn in off of there because, again, it's an off-roading area. But when you get back there, you can see Sunset, the volcano, absolutely beautiful. You don't need to go to the National Monument to look at it. You can see it just great down Forest Road 776. But so as you're driving back there, I took another shot of the Jeep. Look at those views, folks. It's absolutely outstanding back there. Nobody's on these roads, so I was like, let me pull over the Jeep here, take this shot with the beautiful mountains, the San Francisco peaks in the background with the beautiful snow on it. And it was probably about 50 plus degrees when I was out there. So it was just a beautiful day. Beautiful area on Forest Road 776 down at the Cinder Lake off-roading area back there. But I love that shot. One of my favorite shots of the Jeep out there. Kind of want to put that as something of my logo. but you'll see my logo in the top right-hand corner. Got a lot of color on that thing. I don't know if you can actually make it out or not, but that, man, it's one of my favorite shots. So let's keep moving on here. Let's keep moving on towards the area that we're going to be getting to. Let me go back up in here. Okay. There are 2 locations. Here's the sign of the second location. There it is. Astronaut Training Ground, preserved by the National Park Service, NASA sign. There are about 40s around the first location there. And let me just pull the mic up here and read that. During the late 1960s, early 1970s, the area behind this fence was used to train astronauts for the Apollo space program. Craters were blasted out with explosives and rocks brought in to simulate the surface of the moon. Here, astronauts learned to walk in spacesuits and use equipment to prepare for the lunar mission. Similar areas were created in Texas and Florida, but no longer exist. I'll say that again for some people that always question me on this. Here it is. This is an actual sign given by the National Park Service and NASA. Similar areas were created in Texas and Florida, but no longer exist. This area only, the only remaining astronaut. Oh, look at my phone's now clicking off here. Let me turn that off. I'm sorry. This is the only remaining astronaut training area. Please help us protect the important part of America's history. Look at what it says, folks. This is the only remaining astronaut training area. That's why it's top 5, probably top 3 sites that I've ever gone to. One of my favorites. I do tours back to this area because it's not easy to find. The second site is easy to find, but the first site is not. It takes some effort hiking through cinders that are 1 to 6 inches deep with every step you take for over a mile. So you want to know where you're going when you're walking through these cinders, because it's like skiing a huge hill and getting down, and your thighs and shins are just burning. But this place is outstanding. What unbelievable history out here. I love it. Here's the problem. Crater Field, this is located at Crater Field 1, and it's preserved well, but we're going to look at Crater Field 2. I actually got a drone footage, but I'm going to bring it up, and as I bring it up, I don't know if it's going to freeze. For some reason, it kept freezing when I kept trying it out, but I'm going to bring it up. It's only like 10 seconds long, but if it doesn't move, I will take it off the screen because the sound is going to go completely out because there is no sound to the recording. But let me bring it up and see what happens. Here we go, folks. We're going to see if it works here. Oh, goodness. Please work. You know what? I have to actually take the graphic. I'm sorry. I have to take... This is what happens when we're live. Got to take that graphic off. Now let's see if it works. Man, I hope it works. I really do. Guess what? It doesn't look like it's going to work. What's going on? No. Man, that sucks. It's not even possible. It's not even wanting to pull up the video. Man, I just downloaded that sucker too. That's a live show for you. All right, let's move on. What does this place look like? All right, Crater Field 2. These places were created in 1967-68. Again, like I read off of there, but there's a lot more to it. They wanted Crater Field number 1, the very first one they did, 143 craters. They made it look exactly like the Sea of Tranquility. Okay, they mapped it out at Lowell Observatory. Neil Armstrong was up there. All these astronauts were up there prior to the landing on the moon in 1969. They were mapping it out for years. They got it mapped out where they wanted to try to land, and they came pretty close. And they took that map and they went to Crater Field number 1, which is the best preserved of the 2 crater fields, and made it look exactly like the Sea of Tranquility. You can pull it up on Google Maps when I show you the area. But Crater Field 2 came later, and they blasted over 430 craters in Crater Field number 2 for them to train in the rover and to do all other kinds of things, to make some craters look older, some to look younger, do some geology work because they were out at Meteor Crater, which is the largest preserved crater on the face of the planet of its size, right down the road. They were there doing geology work, learning how to date rocks and what kind of rocks to bring back from the moon. But out at Cinder Lake, they were doing all this stuff, and they brought all the I think it was CBS or ABC. I'm not sure. That's not too many to pick from back in 1969. They actually went out to Crater Field number 1 while they were training out there in their full uniform. And now I'm going to get a lot of conspiracy people out there saying, oh, that's why they didn't land on the moon, Dean. They took the trucks out there and they videoed them doing this out there because they didn't know if they would have the connection from the moon when Neil Armstrong stepped out. They didn't know what kind of reception they were going to get. So they went out there to Crater Field 1 and they videoed these guys working out there. So that's just a little history. Crater Field 2. Crater Field 2, unfortunately, has been destroyed by off-roading vehicles. And let me just say this out loud now. I am not condemning the off-roading vehicle society, the people who love to go out to Cinder Lake and off-road. It's an off-roading area, okay? People always like, look, it was destroyed by off-roading vehicles because it was not sectioned off after they left out of there in 1972. That's your last mission up, I believe Apollo 17. And excuse me 1 second, folks. I'm going to bring up a picture because I got to do something on this computer. All right, I think I got it taken care of. That was another beautiful shot of the Jeep out there on Forest Road 776. And so anyhow, the off-roading vehicles, when you go out to the Cinder Lake and you check one of these places out, or you hire me for a tour out there, and it's going to be well worth your money and time, but it is going to take time, effort, and you're going to have to be in pretty good physical condition to get out there. But they didn't rope it off. So the off-roading vehicles went out a little bit farther and they went through all these 430 plus craters to have a good time with. And let me show you what they look like today, because you can still spot them from the ground. I have great drone footage, but I can't show it to you right now. Maybe in another episode of Good Morning Arizona. But here it is. Here is what one of those looks like from ground level. I think that's it right there. Yeah, all right. Let me go ahead and take off the Arizona Timeless Tours overlay here. Let me take that off there. Okay, look at that shot. It does look like the moon. In the background, over towards the left, you can't quite see it, is sunset. It is the volcano over there. That's why you don't need to go there to check it out. But that is, if you look at all the dark areas right there in Crater Field number 2 of the 430 plus craters, those are the craters that are left that the off-roading vehicles destroyed over time. I mean, since 72, 73 timeframe when they left there. But you can still see them. And when you launch the drone, they even look better because you can't tell how deep they are. Now, some of them are deeper than others. This one right here to the left is actually deeper than it looks. But it's not just the off-roading vehicles that destroyed it. It's over time, the wind. This is all crater. This is all like lava rock that you're looking at. So it's windy out there in the open. You can feel pines, the ponderosa pines in the background up there. But over time, and they filled in. That's probably somewhere between 5 to 6 feet deep, that one right there on the left that you can see on the screen. But that place is great. Let me bring up another graphic of Crater Field number 1. This here, there's a drone shot. There's a drone shot of Crater Field number 1 a little bit higher up. I don't know, 70 to 80 feet up. And now you can kind of see more of those dark spaces that are still there. And the only way that you can really spot those is to throw a drone up and to see them. Because I'm going to tell you what, if you walk through that area, you think they'd be easy to find or not. And you will be wore out by the time you find all these craters. They are pretty good distance away from each other. But that is an aerial shot of Crater Field number 2. Let's see what else we got here. What else do we got? Crater Field 1. This is let me show you the shot that you can definitely see of Crater Field number 2 on Google Earth. This is just a lot closer of a shot with the drone that I had. I didn't go very high, very windy out there. Trying to be responsible with the drone. And check out, this is the one right there. Boom. If you look at that from Google Earth, you're going to be like, man, that's a magnificently preserved crater. Because the higher up you go, you'll see the two spots there. Well, the crater's actually, folks, in the middle. You see the middle area? You see what the off-roading vehicles had a good time doing? They just made that what's that shape called? And they just kept going around in circles, around in circles. So those two on the outside were made by the off-roading vehicles, and then they dipped inside the crater that's there in the middle. So the two things on the outside aren't the craters, but they sure look like it from Google Maps. But you can see the rest of them in the background, and you can see the volcano. There it is. The volcano is right there in the background back there in the National Monument area. But look at that. All right. I want to see your guys' in the chat, but I'm not going to do it until I'm done with this presentation right here. And I try to get this dumb overlay that's coming up over my system here that I'm afraid if I shut it down, I shut the whole system down. So, all right. Let's go out to Crater Field number 1. It is a walk. It is a mile from this location, folks. It is back there, but it is well worth it. Well worth the hike back. Why is it worth the hike back? Well, let me show you. Here we go. Here we go. Man, what's going on here? Uh-oh. I know that's probably not what you want to hear me say is uh-oh, but some of these pictures are having some issues. There's one with me with the beautiful white sunglasses that people told me that were too small for my face, so I did change them out over time. When you get a lot of followers on TikTok saying the same thing, you take those sunglasses off, and I did. It was a lot of peer pressure right there. And behind me is one of those craters in Crater Field number 1. Stuff is growing up inside there from the desert, of course. But just look at that preservation. Before I show you one of the best that there is, look at the preservation of this crater still today. It's deep. That thing is at least 14 to 15 feet deep. And you can kind of tell it by ground level of me standing there and having that in the background. But let's look at another shot before I show you like the most magnificent shot I took out there. Let's look at this shot here. All right, this is Crater Field number 1. This was what was set up to look exactly like the Sea of Tranquility. 143 craters, still most of them out there preserved. A lot of them are small, folks. So as you look around, you will see some of the, especially off to the right, some of the smaller craters that are in that crater field. But that view is absolutely spectacular. The view is unbelievable out there as you're looking at these. So we got that one. All right, let me show you. Do I want to show you this one next? Yeah. All right, let me show you the crater that's just on. This next shot is my shot of shots. People actually thought that when I put this as a thumbnail, that this next shot of this crater out at Crater Field number 1 was Meteor Crater. The mammoth crater that came down, they say, some 50,000 years ago, wherever date they want to put on it. The best preserve of its kind in the world. Unbelievable. But this is not that shot. This shot was taken in Crater Field number 1. And here it is. I really like this shot. So you ready for it? Oh, yeah. Check it out. I hope you're as excited to see it as I was to take it and look at it all the time. And I have some great other footage of this that I just can't bring up at this time. But I do have a whole YouTube video of this place, of 2 places that I labeled landing on the moon. And one of them is just dedicated to Crater Field number 1. The other one to Crater Field number 2. But you want to check out the one on this one. There are some excellent ones. Like that one right there is huge, folks. I did a TikTok. I ask you, if you have a second to hit my TikTok account, don't have to follow. Don't have to be one of those 58,000 plus followers on TikTok. But Go to TikTok and go through it. It's not very far in, and you'll see me standing out there pointing at something. And I'm standing with my buddy right next to this thing, and my buddy is on the other side. And it's going to give you a better perspective of how large this crater and how well preserved it still is to this day. He's on the opposite side. I'm on the other side. This thing is, I can't even say, I don't know, 20 plus feet deep. I do not know how wide, but he looks like an ant standing on the other side of this when I'm filming out there. Really wish at another episode of Good Morning Arizona, I will bring that footage up. I will fix it so I can bring it up so everybody can actually see it. But that shot is one of my best shots I've ever taken of any of the 185 places I've been in the last 4 years. I love that shot. Need to blow it up, frame it. I have another shot where you can actually see me in the frame. I just didn't put it on that one. But man, we're gonna roll on to another site. Check out Crater Field 1 and 2, Cinder Lake, off-roading area. Take water, take a friend, take a vehicle that is to park your car back there. There's a lot of potholes and crud to get through to get down Forest Road 776, but doesn't require a four-wheel drive as long as it hasn't rained. But your hike from where those people camp out and you're going to park your car there is a long way. It's over a mile to this area, and it will wear you out. I don't care what condition you're in. Last time we went out there, there's a lot of snow on the ground, and it was still a difficult hike. But Crater Field 1, 2, unbelievable historic spot. And as you saw with the sign, the only one of its kind still remaining today. All right. Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, let's find that shot so I can take it off the screen. Hope you're enjoying this episode of Good Morning America. If you do, share the episode. Share it with as many people as possible. Let's keep this going. I said I'm going to do 14 episodes. We're on number 5, I believe, right now. We're going to see how many people watch, how many people liked it, how it performs out there on Facebook and YouTube and other social media outlets. And if it keeps going, I will be on here between 8 and 8:30 every morning. Can't give you an exact time. It's between 8 and 8:30. Got a lot going on here at the household early in the morning, Monday through Friday, and giving you some unbelievable hidden gems in the great state of Arizona. I think it's well worth people's time to check it out, especially if you want to just get out, look around, and check things out. This microphone kind of like rose up on me during the show here. Again, you can before I get to this next awesome location, I'm going to tell you what, this place is phenomenal, and it's super, super simple to get to. Awesome. Top 10, definitely. Super easy to get to, and it's an unbelievable amount of riches of this thing that you're going to be looking at, because normally you got to travel far and hard to find some of this stuff in the middle of the desert, which I will show you on upcoming episodes of Good Morning Arizona with the Arizona Timeless Tours. Let's bring in, it's time for a sip of coffee before we get to this next one. We'll bring that little graphic up there to check out the Arizona Timeless Tours podcast. When you get off, just go in there and subscribe to it and then listen later. Let's keep that podcast up and running. I love to do stuff, but as long as it's beneficial to other people, it's beneficial to me and the time to take to do the podcast, and that people will listen to the podcast. So I always said I was going to get at least 25 of these podcasts out there, because most people stop at 20. We're at 24. We're going to hit 25, and then we're going to reevaluate the podcasting platform. I think we're like at we're getting close to 1,600 total listens, which is great for a brand new podcast, but I'm looking for a lot more. So share that podcast with as many people as you possibly can. A lot of people moving to Arizona, folks. This would be great for realtors and people looking to move here. We're selling houses around here at astronomical prices. People are being priced out when they make this huge amount of money on their house. They can't move back into the same neighborhood because they're priced out. And so we got a lot of new people moving in, a lot of Arizonans moving out of the state, actually, which is a shame, because housing prices are so absurd at this moment. It's a seller's market right now. So if you know somebody coming on vacation, don't take your friends and family to the same old tourist destinations. Check out all my social media platforms, and or Or what else can you do while we're all taking a sip of coffee this morning? You can do that right there. You can hire me for speaking engagements, one-on-one consultations of 20 to 40 minutes, and tours. Tours kind of went down during the pandemic. They're coming back up now. So you can always get a hold of me at my email, deanb@7010@gmail.com. It's always on the podcast. It's always on TikTok. It's up in the main page. It's on my YouTube channel. And it'll be on the end of this episode, Dean B at deanb7010@gmail.com. Time for a sip of coffee. It's been a long time since I took a sip. I haven't taken a sip since we started the episode. Oh, yeah. Good thing I put it in there this morning, or it would have been cold by now. All right, let's head to the next site, and then we will be finished this morning, folks. What's the next site? Top 10? Yes, top 10. I would say top 10. And I'm going to tell you, this is a petroglyph site, folks. It's a petroglyph site. Where would it rank in the petroglyph site range? Probably top 4. The amount. It's an unbelievable amount of riches. I don't like to show people this place all the time because I've hiked and gone and driven and four-wheeled and got stuck and done some stuff that I probably shouldn't have to find some of these petroglyph sites in the middle of the desert. Did YouTube videos on them. They got maybe 200 views, but thanks to TikTok, they got over 100,000 views. And the time was worth it. But I will not be going back to these spots. But this spot is off Interstate 8 going towards San Diego from Phoenix. It is the Painted Rock, folks. If you haven't been out to the Painted Rock and you don't want to hike to these places and you don't want to take your vehicle and take a pounding like back to Sears Point, which is the best petroglyph site in the state of Arizona, if you ask me. If you don't want to go on these back roads and don't have somebody go with you because you should, this is the spot. The Painted Rock is right off of Interstate 8 coming from Phoenix, going towards San Diego. Not far. If you're getting on it, if you go, just say you were going from the Gilbert area and you went straight down Queen Creek and you jumped down the John Wayne Parkway and you went down and you jumped on the 8. It's probably another 30 miles on Interstate 8. And it's a paved road all the way to it. It's owned by the Bureau of Land Management. It has a great bathroom facility and picnic areas, and it has camping areas out there. But there's this one rock pile that has. That's why I don't take people out there that want to search for petroglyphs, because it's not fair. But it looks something like this. Here's one of the signs that's up out there. It's a little path around this rock pile. And this rock pile is sitting around. There's no other rock pile out there. So if you've been to the Painted Rock and you get there, you're going to be like, well, what did I drive all the way back here for? It's like 14 miles off Interstate 8. Why am I back here? What am I looking at? You're going to look at that rock pile. And you're going to notice that only on one side of the rock pile, you're going to find stuff. And only this side of the rock pile, you're going to find this sign, which is in most parks that have preserved petroglyphs. You're going to watch out for those rattlesnakes. But, all right, Dean, what are you going to see? What are you going to see? Look at this, folks. Take a breath and step back. The picture doesn't do it justice, like looking at the Grand Canyon doesn't do it justice in pictures. Every one of these rocks that you see in front of you are full, just like the ones that you can see in front of you right there. They are full of petroglyphs. I mean, from top to bottom and probably even underneath, you want to be respectful. You want to stay on the pathway. You don't want to move in to get a closer picture. Take a telephoto lens. I'll show you one of my favorite pictures of any petroglyph site in a minute out there. But it's at the top of this rock mound, and you shouldn't be even close to it. Just take a lens with a regular camera, and you will get a great shot of it. You will get a great shot of all these. The funny thing is, folks, this is on the east side, of course. If you walk around to the west side of this rock mound, you won't spot one petroglyph. Not one. They are all on one side and one side only, and they are plastered all over this area. Let's check out another shot. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. This is a little bit closer. Every rock on that side of that little tiny hill of rocks is just plastered with these petroglyphs. You know, if you read, like I do, lots of books on the state of Arizona, some major Arizona and Southwest people that you know of in history that first roamed back here even in the 1600s, like Father Kino, a great missionary roaming back through here in the 1680s in 1700s. He came across this area, folks, and he wrote about it. Pioneers that came across during the gold rush in 1849, 1850, they wrote about this place. People who came through here, other explorers in the late 1600s wrote about this place. It was there, and they couldn't understand it. And it's just sitting in the middle of no man's land. Let me bring up one of my favorite shots. I showed you that one out at the Crater Field. Let me show you this. And this is done with a regular camera, just with DSLR, not a huge, just a regular lens on it, as far in as I can bring it. But look at this. Bang, 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 bang. I love it. I love it. Look at this. They got this rock that goes up and around it. And then there's a rock in it that blocks it from the sun. This thing never gets sun. Hey, you might, maybe on the summer solstice, maybe it's located like this, that sun does pop in there. But look at the guy back there. And the best shot I could get of the sun in there. Look how well preserved that petroglyph is, because it's protected from the elements, folks. It's protected from people back in the day. It's protected by the sun. It's protected by the heat. It's in the shade always. Every time I've been out there, no matter where the sun has been, who knows if on this one of the solstices that thing gets hit, and that's why it's in there. But I love that shot right there. Love that shot. All right, since I am at 55 minutes, I am going to try to close out this little pop-up that came up in here. If it ends my show, I appreciate everybody that participated in the 11 people that are still on. But here we go. I am going to I'm gonna restart it tonight. Oh, there it goes. It popped off. After all that scare, now I can get back in here. Boom. Let's put up some of these people. Thanks, man. Really appreciate this. Henry, thanks for joining. What do we got out here? The National Archives has been closed for a year. For those of us that research and write, it's a major roadblock. Michael Hardy, you ain't joking, my friend. Why they're still closed, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into I don't want to get into politics or anything else on this channel, so we'll just go over that. But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Cheers, Arizona time was too. It's good seeing you. This morning, Rod, I hope you're still on here, because I need to give you a shout out here. A guy I've been following for quite some time. There is his YouTube channel, folks. He is a beer guy, does beer reviews, has great lives. Enjoy them very much. So if you're still one of the 10 people still hanging on at over an hour of a live, check out his lives and his beer reviews. Really enjoy that channel a lot. Thanks a lot for kicking on. Again, I'm sorry for everybody reading these comments late. Thought that when I kicked that little pop-up that came on about a computer upgrade, it was going to knock me completely offline. But look at this beautiful petroglyph here. I'm going to take that off in just a second after I wonder which one you didn't see. I hope that was in reference to the video. Has everybody been able to see all the pictures I posted up here so far? I hope so. I did the overnight hike in with a Forest Service guide. Oh yeah, now you must be talking about the video then. Yeah, that would have been awesome right there, Bessie. That must have been awesome. All right, let's put this out here. Let's go up a little bit farther. We got a lot of messages on here I missed, and I'm apologizing. One Cast, One Fish said that's cool. If you're talking about that right there, that is cool. One Cast, One Fish. Living History comes alive. Thanks for joining in. It says at Arizona time with Stewart's hello host. Good morning, everyone. It says let's see, this country of ours. A lot of history in Arizona, natural history, military history, film history. Can't wait to visit and film. Taking into consideration where colonization began in this vast country of ours, there's a lot of history in Arizona. Yeah. See, Arizona, became a state in 1912, but folks, the land has been here since all land was created. It's not just been here, and history didn't start here in Valentine's Day of 1912. It's been here a long time. Arizona became in February of 1863, became a territory thanks to Charles the Brill Poston and a few others that we will do chats on later of the Good Morning Arizona show. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on there. Let me get this graphic overlay off so I can put some of these comments on the screen. All right, let me get that off of there. And then let me upload some of this stuff here. We had Rob on there earlier. We'll go into the chat. And we got this comment right here from Living History Channel Comes Alive. I will check out your channel after I'm off here today. Look forward to seeing what you got if you got some YouTube videos out there. Again, why do I do Good Morning Arizona? Why do I get up, get everything taken care of in the morning and jump on here between 8 and 8:30 Monday through Thursday? Because most people work 40 to 70 hours a week. They don't have time to dive into the history books that are behind me, to all the magazine articles, internet articles, research that I do, the 34,000 miles I put on that beautiful orange Jeep Rubicon just inside of the state of Arizona, all the off-roading I've gone to. I want to show you places like Agua National Monument that don't have roads, that just have these dirt service roads that you can get in and out of, but they preserve some of the most ancient Native American sites in the state of Arizona in Agua Fria National Monument. I want to show you places like Ironwood Forest National Monument. Again, open that cattle road, go in there, just know there is no roads. It's like Back to the Future. There are no roads where we're going. And you're driving through washes. I had a guy go out there and truck get stuck. And you've got to have four-wheel drive. You can't go to Ironwood National Forest after it's rained. That would be a very bad thing to do. You're going to get stuck. You're going to get stuck. But the petroglyphs out there, Southwest Archaeology has been out there documenting those petroglyphs. And we've been out there twice, 2 times to find it. But I look forward to bringing that. Maybe I'll bring that to you tomorrow. If you come back on between 8 and 8:30 tomorrow, we'll be able to see that. Let's see what else we got going on. It says I got more messages, but my mentor is the host of Arizona Ghost Riders out of Tucson. All right. So I appreciate everyone on here. We got 11 people sticking on. I appreciate you getting up this morning, spending it with the Arizona Timeless Tourist on Good Morning Arizona. Appreciate everybody who's left a comment in the chat. Man, I would love to keep going on and on and on, but it would be better for me to keep it under an hour, and we're already an hour and 2 minutes in. If you can share it, some people say I have a hard time on my Arizona Timeless Tourist Facebook sharing things. So I'm going to share the show here. It'll download it once I'm finished. When I hit off here, this will download to the Arizona Timeless Tours Facebook page and YouTube channel. Share it with as many people as possible, folks. Let's get this thing up and running like the podcast. And when I go back and reevaluate whether I should stay on and do these in the morning after 2 weeks, hopefully it's a yes, and it's worth your time and my time to put it on. But I have so many more places to share with you. Places like that Cinder Lake, places like that Apollo moon landing training site, to me is just mind-boggling, and most people don't know about it. If you pull up Cinder Lake again, you can go up and look around the Flagstaff landfill is back there, and you pull up Google Earth, you will see some fantastic shots of Google Earth of that area. And it really looks like the moon from that vantage point. It really looks unbelievable. So check that out. Again, you can follow me on all these platforms for the last 4 years. MeWe, MEWE, is a brand new site that I just uploaded a bunch of content to. It took a long time to upload this content. It's so new that there's only a few followers out there. So if you could hit that MEWE, it's called MeWe, and go out there and maybe follow the Arizona Timeless Tours. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Graphics here. Just go over a couple of the spots before I shut it down. My favorite spot, one of my favorite shots right here as I drink a cup of coffee. That place right there is, oh man. And then one of my favorite Jeep shots right there. We're just going to go over a couple of these spots before I shut her down. There's the grave of Finn Clanton, brother of Ike and Billy Clanton of the famed OK Corral. If you haven't heard my rant on the OK Corral and how we know it, I got it on my podcast. It's titled the OK Corral, and it's going to give you a different perspective of Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday in that less than 30-second gun fight. And why do we know about it? Why do we know about Wyatt? I always state this because I find it to be history altering. If you really learn the history of why we know about Wyatt Earp and his brothers in that shootout, why all these guys are popular, why do we go to these graveyards to find these graves? We wouldn't if something didn't happen back on December 2nd, 1896. I know I say it so many times, but I want to say it again. If an event in San Francisco, California didn't happen, I believe these guys would be lost to history, and it would just be another gunslinger in history with Wyatt Earp and the shootout at the OK Corral. We wouldn't know about it. If you want to know about it, just look it up on the podcast. It's the OK Corral podcast. And I did it on my last episode of Good Morning Arizona. I just hate doing things over and over again. So there's that. There's the stars out there on in front of the San Carlos. There's Clark Gable. There's Marilyn Monroe's. Is she not going to come up? Yeah, there's Marilyn Monroe. There's another shot I did not show you earlier of one of the craters out at Crater Field number 1. It's another shot with the snow there. It's a beautiful snowy day the second time I went out there. I want to say that's like 3 or 4 months ago. Oh, just a beautiful area. Hire the Arizona Time of Stewards to take you out there. Then you won't get lost. Well, I hope we won't get lost. But we'll have a good time out there. Just got to, again, quite the hike. If you can see, you can even see some of the footprints of people around the edges of that. I have seen people take pictures inside of it. I stay outside of these craters. That whole area, here's a picture I did not show you earlier. And since a couple of you are still hanging around, let me show you this picture of my buddy standing somewhere. Do I got this picture somewhere here? Where's it at? Man, I'm looking for this pitch. Oh, here it is right here. All right, this is what you don't see. Here's a buddy of mine that was nice enough to go out with me, and you'll see right there, he's leaning. I had him lean up against the fence. That's where one of those plaques are put. That fence goes like a mile to the woods or to the trees to keep the four-wheeling vehicles out of it. That's why that area right there is so well preserved. So you can't drive into it with a four-wheeler, but there are parts in there where you can just walk in. There are these little these poles I wish I would have took a picture of that, if they wanted people completely outside of this thing, they would have made this fence go completely around the whole area. But you can walk in. But my point is, why would you walk into the craters? Why would you do something to help destroy or decay these craters that have been there since 1967? Why would you do that? So stay out of the craters, but enjoy the looks of them. Take some photos, enjoy them, walk through the area. It's beautiful out there. The mountain views are extraordinary, but that fence line is right there protecting Crater Field number 1 with this sign right there. So yeah. All right, folks. Does anyone want to hear anything else? I'm gonna go into chat. If you want to hear something else, I'll stay on. If not, I'll pop off. We're at 1 hour and 8 minutes into this. Let me go into the chat, and I don't see anybody else in the chat wanting to see anything else. Does anybody have any questions? I will hang on for like 2 minutes. And if not, check out those social media pages. Come on, help out the Arizona Time with Stewards. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. TikTok, again, has been an outstanding. We got almost 15 million views on TikTok in 8 months. 58,200 followers. TikTok has been outstanding. Still love YouTube, though. Still love YouTube because where else could you have all of this? Where else can you place all your videos without being charged for it? I mean, really. Betsy says, thanks for the tour. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your morning. I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Your TikTok page is excellent. Thank you for that. I tell you what, I'm going to say this before I get off here. Wherever you're at, if you love history, people have asked me to go to other states, and I laugh. But guess what? There is an opportunity that I have coming up in the next couple months to cover another state. Oh, I look forward to this. Got the books behind me. If you can read these books behind me, a couple of those books are on the state that I'm going to next to do a new TikTok channel. Just TikTok and TikTok alone. Maybe even a podcast when I got enough history of the state. But we're going to add another state to the channel. And I don't know if we're going to change the channel name. I don't know what's going to happen, but there's some great opportunities coming. But look, people ask me all the time, they wish that they could find a channel like mine on TikTok in other states. If you follow me, if you live in another state, take that cell phone out. This is the great thing about TikTok. This is all it's going to cost you. This is the format that they want it in. This is why I go to all the YouTube locations and refilm. And the YouTube video got 300 views, and the TikTok gets 100,000 views. One of my TikToks is sitting at 855,000, another one at 595,000. It is amazing if people watch a 30-second TikTok, what TikTok will do. I'm getting a little feedback in the mic. I apologize if you hear that right now. You can take your camera, put it up like this, like I did on my first one that got over 500,000 views, and just told people about a place called Sacred Mountain in the V-Bar V Ranch that I covered in the last 2 Good Morning Arizona live episodes. If you want to go back and check those out, they're all uploaded on the YouTube channel. They're all uploaded on the Arizona Timeless Tours Facebook page. You can see this forever afterwards. And I bring up the picture so you don't have to see this ugly mug the whole time we're on here talking. But TikTok, go out and film it. Go out and film your location. Go out at 30 to 40 seconds at the max and upload your TikTok. Do your history of the town, the state that you live in. And I'm telling you, people are interested in that kind of stuff. They will come and they will watch. I am an example of that. I'm small across all social media outlets, folks. And TikTok has made me, gave me sponsorships, has given me opportunities, that little fame thing where you go to get your coffee in the morning and somebody says, you're that guy. You're the guy we watch every day on TikTok. You're that guy. And, you don't need that. You don't need that confirmation, but it is fun. And it makes you want to go out and do some more investigating, some more searching. Go out there in your town, what you love to do, post a 30, I would say keep it to 30 seconds, but no more than 45 seconds, and just upload it to TikTok. And you'll be amazed at where it goes. People love history, folks. People love history. Find that hidden gem in the state of Texas. Find that hidden that hidden gem in Arkansas. Find it in Kansas. Find it in Florida. Man, Florida would be good times to do a TikTok channel on the history of Florida. Whew. But get out there and film. Use these platforms, these free social media outlets. Get out there, check it out. All right. I'm reading an extraordinary book right now on it's called Ancient America, and I'm going to be starting another podcast on things like that. So I have my niche of Arizona. We're going to talk about all of America, and we're going to talk about this unbelievable thing of giants in the land. Look forward to bringing you something like that. I will make sure I put on all my platforms for people who are interested in ancient America. Until next time, folks, those 10 people who are still hanging out here, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow morning between 8 and 8:30 with at least 3 more unbelievable locations within the state of Arizona. Till next time, take care of yourself, folks.